Welcome to Books at the Bottom of the Stairs. Hi there, my name's Lorene. We are in a campground close to Salmon Arms, British Columbia, in the Rockies. And while we were in Salmon Arms, we popped into a bookstore and we did a bit more shopping. So, what that means is the books that were in this box, which is really all that we said we would only fill one box with books, and we have several times. So that's what's in there now, based on the purchases of the last two bookstores. And I talked about this briefly. This is our read aloud for the next week, and I'm about to begin The Wild Robot. And what's happened over here, these are the books that we've either purchased and won't get to for a little while, or we finished. And Steve came across an interesting one. I think I might put it on my, with November nonfiction. Rome, A History in 7 Sackings by Matthew Neal. It sounds really cool. And I have two of these at home. The Kevin Crossley Holland Arthur series, which I have the first two but not the third. So when I was doing all those book clear outs, I decided, I'm going to see if I can find the third one in hardcover. I actually do not remember if I have read this or not. I think I have, but I just wanted to finish the series. And so that might make a nice fun reading in the winter, just, run through that series again. Because I really did love it. It was quite a good one. I mentioned cold, and I was talking to my book club last night, and these really intrepid book club leaders go through the trouble of finding polls, books to put into their lists to people to vote on. And in this particular book club, it's just so few of us at the moment that we just can do it verbally. So this book has come forward as the next month, but I was mentioning earlier that it's supposed to be really quite spooky, and so I'm going to just crash read it when we get back home in Halifax, because it's for the end of June. And this book, I really did enjoy it, but I did stop partway through. Where is it there? Wilder Lore and The Accidental Apprentice by Amanda Foody. I don't know why I didn't realize this. Of course it's going to be a series, and there's nothing wrong with that, but this is in the first one, we've got a lot of world setting, and we've got a lot of challenging, and the characters are getting to know each other. And so in a way, I know what's coming, and I thought, well, this is more what I would rather do, go to the library and pick up a whole bunch of them and just read through for a week. So I'm going to put this one aside for when I get home and can do that. And because it's for young readers, it's almost like reading one adult book, especially if you're a fast reader like me. Okay, The Black Joke. You just cannot go wrong with Farley Mowat as a read aloud. We've read Owls in the Family, The Dog That Wouldn't Be, The Boat That Wouldn't Float, Lost in the Barrens. I think there's another one that takes place in the Barrens. I can't remember off the top of my head. But really, he just has such a gift for writing a good sentence. And I was tense through the whole thing. And because we were reading this just beside the Pacific Ocean, I was really keen to get it finished while there was the crashing of waves in the background. So we did. That meant that we read 2 chapters a night in order to get it done. And it was suspenseful all the way through, and so well drawn. I think, nowadays Farley Mowat wouldn't get away with some of these sort of stereotype characters that he pulls into his stories. But when was this written? I think it was written in the 60s. I can't recall, but it's just such a treat to read an author that understands that a sentence is meant to be heard as well as read. You know what I mean. Read. Okay, Me 3 by Susan Juby. She's a BC author, and I've read pretty much everything that she has going, and I did a quick little overview of it. This is a nice middle grade book. young adult if you're on the young spectrum of young adult. But what I liked about this is we've got the young lad whose name I've forgotten because it was, 3 days ago. He's really not in a good shape as far as what's happening to the family, and Dad's a gambler, and I think I mentioned all this, but what I like about it is we've got a pretty authentic young person's voice in here as opposed to an adult telling the story from the point of view of a young person. We really do hear the voice of the young person in this one. And I think Susan Juby, when she writes for this sort of 13 to 18 age range, she's really got a great sense of the characters that she's drawing. Now, at the same time, I've read maybe 2 out of 3 of her books written for adults, and she's just as good. Really super, super, super recommend Susan Juby. This is Steve's book, which I think I've talked about. I don't need to talk about that. Steve, he can open up his own booktube channel. And The Daughter of Dr. Moreau I also spoke about, and Steve thinks that by putting all these books in that little closet there, we're going to create a lopsided driving experience. He's just joking around. But it is true that while I angst about having only 2 books to travel with, I now have too many books to travel with, and I'm loving it. And so, I have quite a lot of space in here. This is sort of the dead space where the rubber boots and that kind of thing go in. And so look at all that possible space that I could fill up with books. And yarn. I did do a little bit of yarn shopping. So for the knitters out there, this is Jellyfish Legs, and she is a dyer in, where were we? Seychelles, I think we were in. And the colors are just so yummy. So pair of socks coming out of that. And I also bought this one. It's dyed by Lichen and Lace, and I really do like her colorways. Also going to be a pair of socks, which I should be starting fairly soon because I am just about finished the second sock here, and that was yarn that I bought last summer when we were on Gabriola Island from a dyer. I know I've got it over it somewhere. It's just too confusing to try and find the label for, but she's a dyer operating out of Gabriola Farmers Market every Saturday. So these are really warm and lushy yarns. This one, it's going to make such a nice warm sock. This one, maybe not so much. It's a little lighter. Whoops, it's a little lighter, not quite as thick as this one. And this one's going to be kind of in between. So for those of you who don't really enjoy knitting, I hope you at least enjoyed the colors. And, they kind of go well with the book cover there. So, well, yes, you can sort of imagine it all for yourself. I think I'll probably follow through with a few more nature shots as we go. And there was a little bit of sunshine, but it was pouring rain yesterday. So one of the reasons this closet got opened was because we couldn't get to our rubber boots. And it is a bit of a tip back here. It is actually, but we manage. It's surprising how well we manage. We've got all the storage kind of, those boxes, that's the coffee box, that's where the books go. That's the Steve's clothes and the extra bedding. And that's where the bed kind of rolls in and out. It actually just functions really well. I seem to do the videos when I'm mid-packing. I get inspired and think, oh, let me talk about this, and then I don't tidy up. So you are seeing it at its worst as we are, taking things in and out. And that's my kitchen table. And so I'm about to do the dishes. And this is the stove top that lifts up, which has also become Missy's throne. And so you just, whoops, sorry for that. You just pull that little tag and the whole thing just lifts up, and there's 2 burners there, and there's a sink that we're not using there, and that's the dishes stuff, and that's a fridge that, actually, I would say that the fridge issues are giving us a bit of a pip, because it either doesn't work, or it works with electricity. So our food is what do you call that? Chilled food is a bit of a challenge. So out there is our solution, a cooler with ice. And we have to bring that in every night. So at nighttime when the bed is pulled out, it is right now, it's pulled out. I haven't actually, closed everything up. There's hardly any place to put your feet because the cooler has to come in and those two totes have to come in because there are bears. And the last time we were, I guess it was the night before's campsite, the ranger said to us, just assume there are bears. There have been daily sightings of bears. They've been pretty much everywhere. And so we thought, okay, well, that's just for that region. We pulled into here, and the ranger said, well, if you see a bear, I'd get inside your car because mostly they like to be higher up the mountain, and that's where the garbage is. And so if they're coming down here, they're probably just going out for a stroll. But, they're just not normally down this little section. and so once we get to Alberta, I think, either the bears aren't there or they're smaller or they're raccoons. I don't know, but it means that those things don't have to come back in and sleep with us at night. And so I'll give you a shot of Missy. She's somewhat cool and collected. That was a bit of a rattle rant, so I will see you next time. I hope your week is going well and that all your books, dreams, adventures, and purchasing are satisfactory. Bye-bye for now. Hello again. I was slightly embarrassed by the state of the place. This is what it looks like most of the time. And that's the bed folded up. That's the storage. And that doesn't usually get too messy. That whole thing doesn't get really too messy. It's kind of that area where things get a little bit chaotic. Food in and out, dishes need doing, that kind of thing. And usually we're pretty good at keeping the table clear because it's quite often not there when we're driving, but back here. And Missy likes to sit, right around there, or she likes to sit at that table, but when it's pulled back. And that chair turns around, of course. That'd be a heck of a thing to drive all the way backwards, wouldn't it? So that's what it normally looks like sorry, I'm spinning too fast. Normally looks like during the day. I'm going to try and find the shower stalls in a few minutes. And yeah, outside just kind of looks the same. Anyhow, that's just a little less embarrassing for me. Bye. It's a hailstorm. Here's another little segment from Books at the Bottom on the Stairs, traveling across Canada. And we're supposed to be in Kicking Horse National Park, I guess, which is part of Yoho National Park. But
one of those little things happens where we made the reservation for last night, and they're not even open. So they accepted our reservation and our money and everything, and didn't mention they weren't open. So we're in what's called a primitive camping spot, which it's really sort of, I don't know, what would you call it, sort of an emergency camping spot, because there's nothing for another 2 hours, 2.5 hours, I think. And 2.5 hours around here for driving is just brutal. Or I find it brutal. I'm not really enjoying this part of the trip, driving wise. So this is called primitive camping. It's just a giant parking lot. And it was full last night. It was completely full. And there's just one toilet for everybody. Well, I think there's about 25 campsites. And over there, you can just sort of see a truck go past. And just below that little green part is a railway line. So last night there were, well, it's just lots of highway noise, lots of railway noise. Quite a lot of trains went past. But this mountain is something else. Oh my God. And actually, the other part that's fascinating to me is we're in prime avalanche territory. So we've got this. Oh, did I get this mountain? I didn't get this mountain. Look at this sucker. We're sitting at the bottom of it with all these avalanche warning signs around the place. Don't stop on the road, avalanche any second. So bears to the left of us, avalanches to the right.
Go.